Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Loving Someone in Recovery, the answers you need when your partner is recovering from addiction, by Beverly Berg, MFT, PhD. Foreword by Stan Hatkin, PsyD, MFT. Narrated by Randye, Kaye. Publisher's note. In this audio edition, you will hear references to tables present in the print and ebook formats of the book. This publication is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that the publisher is not engaged in rendering psychological, financial, legal, or other professional services. If expert assistance or counseling is needed, the services of a competent professional should be sought. Foreword. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, I was one of the lead therapists for John Bradshaw at both Life Plus Treatment Center and Ingleside Hospital in Los Angeles, California. The matter of codependency was at the forefront of our treatment programs. During that period, Bradshaw and others broadened public awareness of addiction and codependency. The term co-alcoholic, which had been popularized as the flip side of addiction, was reframed as codependent. The first meeting of Codependents Anonymous was held in 1986, and codependency became part of the cultural lexicon. The recent popularity of attachment theory and neuroscience has given us additional ways to describe and approach the problem of codependency. As a couple therapist, I am especially interested in Beverly Berg's topic, since I am one of those who have become enamored of both attachment theory and neuroscience. Allow me to discuss codependency in light of the former. From the perspective of attachment theory, if you see yourself as codependent, that is, overly invested in a partner who is currently in recovery from some form of addiction, it is quite possible you did not feel securely bonded in your earliest relationships. But fret not, because both codependency and the type of insecurity associated with it are well understood by therapists familiar with attachment theory and are common in the Western world. So you're in good company. Saying that, however, misses the point that being in this situation makes you angry, depressed, and did I say angry? Codependent men and women tend to bond in love relationships in a way that makes them both angry and resistant. Why? Because during their childhood, at least one of their important caregivers was preoccupied as a result of feeling overwhelmed, unsupported, and unloved by his or her own parents. Young children with a preoccupied caregiver tend to feel alternately, 1, rewarded for depending on and supporting this caregiver, and 2, rejected, punished, or abandoned. This inconsistency tends to make them angry, as well as suspicious of and resistant to affectionate approaches from a caregiver. Fast forward to adult relationships with a partner preoccupied with addiction, and you find a familiar situation. Here you are, still anxious and insecure, and prepared for the usual. I'm not wanted and needed. I'm not important. I'm abandoned. I'm doing all the work in this relationship. This is a huge ripoff. Welcome home to your childhood. In love relationships, you probably see yourself as a caretaker, emotionally available to an otherwise indifferent or non-present partner. If your partner is an active addict, he or she knows how to feel good without you. You, on the other hand, need your partner to be present, loving, and caring so that you can feel good. Big problem here. You are left feeling ignored, abandoned, and alone without a way to alter your own brain chemistry so that you can feel great. For that, you need your partner. Not fair. But because you are insecure and you fear abandonment, you stay in the situation and you continue to feel angry and resentful. Even now that your partner is in recovery, he or she may be preoccupied with the recovery process. You still feel a bit unimportant because your partner is still focused on himself or herself and not you. You're waiting for some reciprocity. In this book, you will find answers to the questions you have about how to navigate out of an anxious attachment and into a secure one. Beverly Berg intimately understands the recovering couple's struggle. Using mindfulness theory, she has outlined a systematic method to support you in recovery so that you can move from being over-focused on your partner and start, maybe for the first time in your life, to pay attention to your own self-care. From that basis, she guides you to attain the sense of mutuality, collaboration, and fair play you want and deserve in your love relationship with your recovering partner. In fact, what you want and deserve is also what your partner wants and deserves. As a couple, you should have a safe, secure, and purposeful relationship based on a set of values that serves you both. Ultimately, with increased self-care and self-focus and strong self-advocacy, you will be able to stand up not only for yourself, but for what you believe a relationship should be. One that serves both of you equally and helps you both become more than either of you could ever be on your own. Stan Tatkin, PsyD, MFT, Calabasas, California, March 2013. Introduction. Few challenges in life are more difficult than being in a committed relationship with an addict. I say this having worked in the field of mental health and addiction recovery since 1982. During this time, I've come across hundreds of partners who, like you, loved someone who had an active addiction and continued to love that same person in his or her recovery. From the moment your partner gets into recovery, you may feel confused about how to juggle being in a relationship with that person and staying free of old enabling behaviors. You may find yourself struggling to keep your eyes off your partner and on yourself while striving to build a strong connection, something you may never have had before. Good news, it doesn't always have to be so hard. I've had the satisfaction of watching recovering couples overcome their challenges and move toward and into the quality of relationship they've always wanted and deserved. When I refer to a couple in recovery, I mean a couple in which the addict gets clean and sober and the partner recovers from obsessive caretaking, also known as codependency. I live in Los Angeles, a land of New Age psychology and therapy speak, where it's not uncommon to hear someone toss out the term codependent while sipping a chai latte. Though others may nod along as if they know exactly what it means, the truth is that the term is very often misunderstood and misused. So let me explain. Codependency is an emotional and psychological state in which one is excessively preoccupied with taking care of or controlling another person at the expense of one's own needs. The key word here is excessively. The codependent's excessive focus on caretaking does not only occur with his or her primary partner, it can also apply to work relationships, friendships, and relationships with extended family. People with codependency have a hard time leaving relationships that are abusive or depriving, tend to stay in jobs that are stressful, and are prone to ignoring their medical needs. Because of their high tolerance for denying their own needs, codependents tend to wait until they have experienced serious consequences before seeking a path of recovery. Simply put, if you're a codependent, you have formed your identity around the need to be needed. You hope that if you put enough gas in the tank of others by taking care of them, they will be able to take care of you. Although you end up feeling empty or resentful, you continue to get involved with people you perceive you can rescue or fix. This makes you a magnet for addicts, and addicts a magnet for you. If you are in a committed partnership with a recovering addict, I'm willing to bet you are or have been struggling with codependency. I have included many examples throughout this book that illustrate how codependents think, feel, and act before recovery, and how they think, feel, and act as recovering codependents. This book is meant to help you recover from codependency and remain with your recovering partner over the long haul, not like a POW held in captivity within a hostile relationship, but as a free agent happy to come home to your partner at the end of each and every day. How this book came to be. During the 20 years my husband Brian and I have been together, we've always had support from a vast network of loving friends and family. Even so, we needed the help of experts to ensure we stayed closer to love than to war. We tried a myriad of couple improvement programs while trudging the road of happy destiny together by working the 12 steps and remaining actively involved with a community of those in recovery. These programs were and remain the foundation for our lives, emotionally and spiritually. We used them before we met and continued to do so after we became a committed couple. Ultimately, this is the book I wish I'd been able to read when my husband and I first got married. Although some resources were available for the painful dynamics we kept bumping up against, I had so many questions hanging on the coat rack of shame that I needed a book like this to magically show up in my mailbox, nicely wrapped in brown paper, please. I mean, how do you ask bookstore salespeople if they have any good books for couples who come from family trees riddled with alcoholism and addiction, and who are kind of oppositional, defiant, and tyrannical themselves, yet who want to learn how to be slightly more cooperative and a lot less resentful? In the 10th year of our marriage, my husband and I decided to take a mindfulness-based stress reduction NBSR course because we had heard it helped lessen reactivity and increased well-being. Jon Kabat-Zinn created NBSR in 1979 at the University of Massachusetts Medical Center in an effort to help medical patients learn a meditative practice known as mindfulness. Kabat-Zinn's mission was to help lower health costs and to bring about awareness of the benefits of a holistic approach to illness. The results were literally mind-boggling. Research using fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, indicated structural change in the brains of people who practiced mindfulness meditation. Harvard researchers Sarah Lazar, 2000, and Britta K. Holzel, 2010-2011, and their colleagues studied brain scans of meditators who had received the NBSR training and found that the density of gray matter in their hippocampus associated with learning increased, while the density of gray matter in their amygdala associated with stress and fear decreased. When the researchers compared these brain scans with scans of individuals who had not received the training, they did not find the same changes. This strongly suggests that the brain can rewire emotional patterns so that individuals are better able to manage their emotional responses to stress. NBSR offered a method for lowering the level of stress my husband and I had been living with at the time, which had negatively impacted the quality of our relationship. After the course, mindfulness meditation became part of our daily routine. The result was not only positive changes in how we went about our days individually, but dramatic changes in the atmosphere between us as well. My method draws on Kabat-Zinn's 1990 NBSR approach as well as on attachment theory as defined by John Bowlby, Mary Ainsworth, and other psychologists. In essence, the style of parenting you experienced while growing up determines how easily you are able to create a secure and satisfying bond with a romantic partner as an adult. To heal as a codependent in recovery, you need to develop the ability to form a secure and lasting bond with your partner. NBSR provides some of the most powerful techniques I have seen to accomplish this, so I have incorporated them in my workshops and in this book. As you listen to this book, I will introduce you to the following 10 skills. 1. How to start your day feeling calm and mindful. 2. How to check in with yourself during the day and retrieve a sense of calm. 3. How to sustain a separate sense of self and set appropriate boundaries while remaining connected to your partner. 4. How to handle strong emotions without becoming overwhelmed. 5. How to get in touch with gratitude and overcome feelings of resentment. 6. How to be present with your partner and allow love to flow from there. 7. How to nourish intimacy in the present moment. 8. How to communicate with your partner without becoming caught up in judgments or negative emotions. 9. How to enhance the spiritual dimension of your relationship through mindfulness practice. 10. How to use mindfulness to prevent emotional relapse. Unfortunately, for each couple I see succeed with these skills, there are countless others who will never have the benefit of qualified professional help in their healing. They're left on their own. In the hope of helping some of these couples, I decided to put my methods into book form. I began by documenting the most common questions my clients and workshop participants expressed to me, as well as the practical advice and answers I gave them. Then I assembled the mindfulness exercises and other techniques that my clients have found most helpful. How to use this book. This book is highly practical and earnestly devoted to the actualization of your life. Each chapter features a variety of exercises, including at least one mindfulness meditation. Because your partner most likely will not be sitting next to you as you listen to this book, the majority of exercises can be done alone. I also offer solo options for the few exercises that are designed for couples to do together. You can stop and do the exercises and meditations as you listen, or come back and do them later in the day or week. Some of them may speak more directly to you than others, but I suggest you give them all at least one try. Then you can build a daily practice with the ones that resonate most for you. If a suggestion doesn't resonate with you at first, just try it one more time. If you don't notice any benefit after that, it probably isn't right for you. The more you practice and experiment with these techniques, the easier you'll find them to be. Moreover, as you practice, the issues that make your relationship feel so hard should start to become easier. Learning to be mindful in your thoughts, feelings, and actions will help you stay steady in the face of all that comes up in the context of your relationship: conflicts, daily stressors, illness, job loss, money problems, raising kids, and even the scariest thought of all, your partner having a relapse. At the same time, by learning to be mindful, you can put some savings in the bank to protect yourself from your own emotional relapse. As you become more mindful, you can expect to feel love for yourself and for your partner, be able to listen better to your partner, establish trust, overcome betrayal, and find forgiveness, feel appreciated and have gratitude for your partnership. Let go of self-criticalness. Know when to assert yourself and when to go with the flow. Be able to give your partner the benefit of the doubt even when he or she is behaving insensitively. Maintain your sense of humor even when the going gets rough. Feel greater self-acceptance and self-confidence and less fear. Have go-to strategies for when boredom, fear, indifference, or murderous rage toward your partner rear their ugly heads. Know what to do if your partner relapses. Ultimately, I wrote Loving Someone in Recovery to promote the values of kindness, compassion, and connection that are possible between partners in a committed relationship once addiction has been arrested and recovery has taken its place. Of course, there are never guarantees in life and love, But once you make the decision to become a change agent and steer yourself away from unhealthy entanglement and into healthy connection, focus on taking better care of yourself while letting your recovery partner find how to live a sober life without you having to be his or her life coach, the likelihood of your relationship lasting immediately jumps. And trust me, success can occur even if both of you are not waking up to recovery at the exact same time or the exact same speed. Yes, it can be tough, but in my experience, most people can succeed if they're armed with the right skills. My goal is to give you mindful and effective tools to replace the ones that aren't so mindful or effective, so that slowly but surely you go from disconnection to connection, from unconsciousness to consciousness, from suffering to joy. Chapter 1. Taking the Struggle Out of Recovery. If you love someone in recovery and are seeking help, whether from a therapist, an addiction professional, a 12-step program, or some other spiritual path, keep in mind that any map you find will be just that. It is not a guarantee of success or a foolproof solution. That includes this book. You can look at this book as a roadmap to help you see your relationship in a new way. Regardless of how distant or alienated you may be feeling from your partner right now, it can help you inch your way closer to your partner, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. The main tool I offer in this book, mindfulness, could be said to work a lot like a global positioning system. The wonder of a GPS is that it always knows exactly where you are. It doesn't provide a lot of useless information, at least when it's working properly. It just says, here is where you are. When you move, it knows exactly where you are in that next moment, too. In this way, moment by moment, it gets you to where you want to go. Having this ready guidance can save you a lot of angst and worry about whether you will reach your destination. Think of mindfulness as your internal GPS. As you move away from self-defeating behaviors that you habitually engage in with your recovering partner, mindfulness will track your efforts to stay the course toward your destination of new and more fulfilling behaviors. Just add mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation has been practiced in Asia for thousands of years. During the last several decades, Western psychologists have begun to use it as a therapeutic technique, and with great success, as Daphne Davis and Jeffrey Hayes from Pennsylvania State University report, 2011. Research has shown the benefits of mindfulness meditation for general well-being, as well as for helping get one's reactivity under control before it can disrupt the connection with one's partner. The careful and attentive practice of mindfulness meditation can help you cope with, rather than just survive, the constant flow of change that occurs in your life. Mindfulness is a state that only requires you to be observational of your ever-changing moods, emotions, sensations, and thoughts. You may not immediately imagine the benefits of sitting quietly next to your partner for a mere 2 minutes a day, but there are plenty. Your relationship experiences many twists and turns on a daily basis, and mindfulness will strengthen your nervous system to counterbalance the huge negatives of stress and overreactivity and allow you to be creative and hearty in your responses to your recovering partner. In addition, mindfulness has been used to treat stress, anxiety, depression, and substance abuse, among other things, and has been shown to help prevent relapse among recovering addicts. I have been practicing mindfulness personally on a daily basis and folding it into my clients' therapy as well. Simply put, mindfulness is what it sounds like, being mindful. Whether you do it alone or with your partner, mindfulness meditation is simply the act of paying attention to your breath without trying to control it, and observing thoughts, feelings, and sensations. If you can bring this level of awareness to each and every waking moment, you are living mindfully. In this book, you will learn 3 essential practices of mindfulness. 1. Being aware. 2. Being present. 3. Being non-judgmental. Let's look briefly at the power of each of these practices. Be aware. You are the observer of your world. Normally, we live life amid a vast flux of thought and emotions. Our partner says something and we react automatically. Mindfulness adds the practice of being aware or being the observer of all that is happening. In and of itself, this does not appear to have much effect, yet it has a big impact when you aim to heal your relationship with a partner in recovery. For example, if you snap at your partner when he or she says something you disapprove of, observing the sensations in your body and any images, smells, sights, or memories that come up can give you insight into why your first response was to snap. When you are aware and observant, you are open to learning and to the possibility of new feelings and fresh ways of responding. Be present. The key to change rests in the present moment. Much of the time, our minds are consumed by thoughts of the past or the future. We fret and obsess over what has already happened, and we worry about what has not happened yet. Mindfulness teaches the axiom that those on a 12-step path already live by. Take one day at a time. When you love someone in recovery, the best way to transform your relationship is to perpetually approach it from the perspective of the present moment. Be non-judgmental. True loving is based on acceptance of yourself and others. When you practice being an aware observer in each moment, you create a new basis for loving your partner. You can stop being critical or negative or judgmental, both of your partner and of yourself. Instead, mindfulness teaches the value of acceptance and unconditional positive regard. You may not like what your partner says or does not say or do, but you can practice acceptance of your relationship as it is. Breaking the habit of being self-critical or critical of your partner takes time. That is why it is called a practice and not a done deal. First, you must become aware of exactly when your mind is generating a critical voice. Then you can look for what is behind the criticalness. Usually, a critical mind is the result of feeling disappointed, hurt, or afraid. Recognizing and connecting with who you are beneath your critical mind, the person who is in pain, allows you to start being more compassionate toward yourself instead of getting lost in judgment. In the chapters that follow, we will go over how to put each of these practices to use in your life and your relationship. Mindfulness meditation. Watching, watching, watching. The most basic form of mindfulness meditation is very simple. It involves watching the most essential natural process of your existence, your breath. Listen to these instructions, then pause the book and do the meditation. 1. Take a moment to sit back in your chair and get comfortable. 2. Close your eyes. 3. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow breath out and allow yourself to relax. 4. Let your breathing resume its normal rate. Don't force it to change in any way, just observe it. 5. Watch your breath as it flows in and out. Don't do anything else, just watch. 6. Thoughts may come to mind and distract you from observing your breath. As soon as you become aware of this happening, turn your attention back to watching your breath. 7. When you are ready, open your eyes. You can do this mindfulness meditation every morning as a means to start the day in a calm manner. You can also do it in the evening to end the day, as well as at any point along the way when you check in with yourself and sense the need to calm down. You don't have to spend a long time at it either. Experiment and see how many minutes of watching you need to feel the effects. Sometimes it may be enough just to whisper watching to yourself. The more you practice mindfulness, the less time it will take. Of course, you may choose to enjoy the space of mindful meditation for as long as you wish. The struggle.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?